You're listening to the HBI podcast. Health, business, and in between. Physio, chiro, and myotherapy. Please welcome your host, the chiro, Nathan Bridger.
I adjusted people on Christmas Day.
The physio, Ben Humphris.
My hair's growing back, my eyebrows are back, mate, I'm good.
And the myotherapist, Mina Garas.
We can't change body parts, but we can strengthen them.
And we go. All right, everybody. Well, welcome back to the Health, Business, and In Between podcast, episode 2. We made it.
We did.
So, for these first few weeks, we are actually going to be interviewing each other, just to give you a better understanding of what each profession does and entails. And today, we're starting with the big man, the man with the giant heart, the man with the new clinic opening up real soon.
That's it.
Mina the
Mina
Maya.
Garas.
Tell us a
Hi,
bit
guys.
about it, man. Lead us in.
All right. So, currently in the process of building a new clinic, which I'm super excited about. It's been crazy trying to juggle work and life and podcasts and treatment and clients as well as trying to build a business. But it's fun, it's challenging. But I think you guys got some questions for me.
Well, I think first up, before you even get started, you need to tell us, what's the name of the new business?
So it's called My Body Clinic. So we'll acronym that and say MBC. So My Body Clinic.
I like
Where
it.
are you?
So we're located at 951 Nepean Highway in Bentley.
Good.
Now
Bentley
official
and
sponsor of the show. So, Benny, lead us away. What's first question for the man, the myth?
Oh, I think give us a background of, I think you first as a person, and then we'll delve into why you got into myotherapy and your passion behind it. Sure.
All right, so about me. So I'm currently 31, going on 32. I'm an only child. I'm Scorpio. So you'll probably see some unique characteristics come out there. Most of all, I've been brought up around quite a large family. So care, trust, and respect have been some values that have really kind of brought up with me. So, how do you develop that through your teenage years, through your adult life, and now to the position we're at now, where we're building businesses and helping people. So, doing myotherapy was never something I always wanted to do. Having an Egyptian background as either pharmacy, doctor, a lawyer, accountant, these are the sorts of things we knew. But thankfully I had really cool parents who allowed me to think freely and be who I wanted to be. So I became a myotherapist by complete accident, which is an interesting story. So initially I actually wanted to be an anaesthesist.
Oh,
Yes, that's what I wanted to do. So in order to do that, I had to do a few years of nursing. I did up to third year nursing, came to do placement, went back to the room to discuss how we went. I said, I hate it. I don't want to do it. Give it to someone who's more deserving of it. I just couldn't handle the demand. It was just crazy. It wasn't for me. Went back to my VTech guide. I looked up and I found myotherapy. I'm like, yeah, I can do physio, osteo, no worries. Did the course, 3 years, loved it ever since.
That's brilliant. I actually never knew that about you, that you did. You done heaps of shit that I don't even know what you did. Like, you lived another life before I
I
met
hope
you.
you've still got the cute outfit, mate. I'd love to see you working out a little nurse action.
Oh, mate, let me tell you. Honestly, I hated it. Absolutely hated it. I'm like, I'm not doing this. So teachers cracked it because I was actually really good at what I did, knowledge-wise, but just wasn't for me. So jumped into this course, and 10 years down the track, probably 8 years down the track now, here we are.
That's great. So what led you to myotherapy? Like, out of all the other choices to make, like, explain that.
Good question, because there's a bunch of other things. So I kind of didn't want to study for another 5 years. And I wanted to kind of get started and get working, because if not, then my dad was going to kind of rope me into his business. He's a jeweler. It's not something I wanted to do at all. Just not creative, didn't have that sort of passion for it. So I knew I loved sport. So that's something that always kind of brought me towards that sort of industry. Physio was going to be another 5 years. I said, you know what? Nah. I thought, what's another easier way? I'll do the easy way. So then I found myotherapy. I liked what it explained. I liked the thought of it. I liked the way you could deviate to other forms of, professions. And then I said, you know what, I'll try it. I've already done half the subjects. I'll take a year and a half off what I've already done. Give it a go. That was really it.
Yeah.
And then...
Was it something you loved straight away, or did you find like one of those things that as you got deeper and deeper, you just sort of enjoyed it more?
As I got deeper and deeper, I enjoyed it more. So I didn't know that I was good at massage. And then first part of it was relaxation. Say again?
So you got iron fists, mate, strong hands.
Well, something had to be strong, mate, because when I came to do nursing, I wasn't very strong-minded for it at all. But yeah, so that was the journey. So then everyone started telling me, you're really good. And I'm like, complete self-doubt. I'm like, I'm not. You're just close mates of mine. And then as I kind of progressed, I started to see clients. It was like, this is amazing. This is fantastic. I'm like, oh, shit. I think somebody got something here. I think we landed something. And then I worked for other companies. I worked for Telstra overseas as well. But I always kind of fell back to massage, jumped in with Dad's business, just to kind of get some extra passive income, some extra work, helping him out. And then I worked with him heaps. And then after that, I'd go and work massage. And every single day was a 12-hour day. And it's always something that's been there throughout my whole career. And then the last few years, I said, you know what, that's enough. Leave everything else. I'm doing this full time. And so for the last probably 4 years now, just been going 100% ahead, full steam ahead.
That's awesome. So you've been, as you said, it's sort of been your safety net each time. Like you've tried the nursing, you've tried doing some stuff with your dad's business in the jewelry industry. You've tried telecommunications, and you're like, thought, fuck it, I need to actually, I'm good at it. So I can run my own business. So why don't I just go balls deep into myotherapy and see what I can make of it?
Yeah, and look, at the same time, like I learned so much from my dad's business. I learned so much from Telstra in terms of people's behaviours and managing teams and managing people and understanding. So I thought, you know what, let's use all of that and put it into something that I actually love. Yeah. And these are stuff that takes years and years to learn through business courses and whatnot. I had already gained all this knowledge. So it just was another level that helped me progress and love what I do more without the stresses of how do I do this and how do I do that. I've never really worked with anyone in this field. Ben's the only person I've ever worked with in this field. I've always been on my own. So, to start branching out with other professions just shows really how much, and I get to meet like-minded people. I've loved it now more than I've ever loved it my whole career.
Man, that's the best. That's the best attitude as well. Like, too many people sitting in jobs they hate or doing that extra work and thinking they get nothing more than a bit of cash at the end of the week. But like you said, you got tangible skills. You got to learn how to work with people. You learn business management from your dad and things like that. And then you got to put it into this. And if nothing else, if it wasn't for the fact, there's plenty of good practitioners that are useless in business. And there's plenty of shitty practitioners that are doing really well in business.
Yeah.
You're the combination of the best of the both worlds. And I reckon this clinic's going to kill it. But I think we really need to hit a big point right now. One of the questions I get asked of me a lot is, because we have a myotherapist in my clinic down here in Geelong, what is myotherapy? And I think you're the number one person to tell us.
Good question. And I love this question because my vision and one of the main key drivers for me is to teach and educate people on who to go for what issue. Right, and that's a forever ongoing learning. So I might not be able to, from our last podcast, we said that I might not be able to help you, but I'm the one that helped you because I put you to the right person. So if we can be that sole network to help our clients. So myotherapy. Myo truly means muscle therapies. Okay, so we assess, treat, and rehabilitate most soft tissue injuries. Right, our strengths. So myotherapy is a combination of relaxation, remedial, and myofascial techniques, right? So what that looks like is we assess, but not as intensively as a physio. Okay? So we have our basic range of movements. We check any basic nerve damage. We have a look if there's any soft tissue injury, and then we assess before we actually treat.
Yeah.
We spend a good portion of about 85% of our time hands-on. And then our main job also is to supply a rehab plan to help. Now, I'll note a lot of people in the industry don't do that. They give them a couple of stretches just to do with a TheraBand. but nothing really comprehensive, which I feel is another big gap when it comes to myotherapy, which is why I link heaps with you guys to kind of get that area, because we don't get really taught that much. And I remember back at school, we only got taught a couple of online lessons. So this is where we separate myotherapy, like, for example, the physiotherapy. So, there's a few other conditions that we treat. So we look at sciatica, we look at muscle tears, strains and sprains. We have a look at tension headaches. We have a look at, muscle rehabilitation. So there's heaps that we do.
You guys, it's like, the way I explain it to people is, like, obviously we've got our own strengths and weaknesses with personal strengths and weaknesses and personal interests and disinterests, and obviously we usually work better with the things that we actually like. And because you have a bodybuilding background, a gym background, obviously you're much more, I'd say, much better at working with acute sporting injuries, and working with people who train quite regularly because they're your main clientele. And as you said, as I know, you train quite regularly, and just before we're in prep for a bodybuilding comp, and a lot of your clientele are bodybuilders. So because you are treating that clientele and you are interested in it, so you're going to see a lot of bodybuilding injuries, sporting injuries, and that sort of thing. And what I was going to say before is physiotherapists are traditionally quite poor at manual therapy, and that's where myotherapists, their strongest suit is the hands-on manual therapy. Well, I can already say from working with you, and I've got to work with a few other elite myotherapists, you're definitely quite good at the diagnostic and the rehab side, as well as being really good, and arguably the best, I reckon, at like manual therapy.
I'll take it.
You need to treat Nath, just so Nath can get a feel of those mate.
And we'll make that happen, because I am
we will.
This body is,
let us know when you're down next.
Man, we need to set that up for sure. I think one more thing I think we really need to differentiate there, because I think we understand their myotherapy, muscle therapy, that manual therapy, but with that added ability to assess, diagnose. But I still think for, like, say, the general population or the average listener, none of our listeners are average, obviously, but you know what I mean. What is the difference between, say, your massage therapist and your myotherapist? Like, what's the big ticket item that differentiates them?
So, as say, suddenly you go into the shopping centres, for example. All right, and this is a really, it's just a really good example to use, because that's the first thing that people think about. I need a massage. I'm going to go there. I just need quick relief, right? Because I've got a sore neck, I've got a headache, whatever it may be. So they pretty much get taught 6 strokes per muscle till you hit the hour. All right. So there's no concentration specifically on this hurts me. Why does it hurt me? Here's why. Here's how we fix it. There's no conversation.
So the main differentiation, between you guys is that rather than being, a set procedure of certain massage and strokes, and you're more like delving into, all right, what happened, more on the assessment and diagnostic side. So you're more advanced, that's for sure.
You get that bolted on to an awesome hands-on massage.
So we're basically talking the difference between, like, critical thinking and following a standard procedure. Like, you're a human being, the other person's a bit more of a robot. And that's not dissing their skill.
Not to diss anything, but that's, again, that brings back to the point who do you go to when you have an issue, right? So if you're just feeling a little bit tight, whatever, no really big issue, you know your body, you just want a quick massage, go for your life, right? But if there's something that's been lingering that you need someone who can give you a massage with the anatomy in mind, that's when you know. So for example, I know, so the difference between us, they won't look at trigger point referral patterns. Okay, so I know if I hit this trigger point, it's going to affect this. Okay, they don't look at if your tendons are tight. They don't look at if you've got asymmetries or if you've got weaknesses. So we can have a quick look at you and assess that and treat that specific thing, not just a hit and miss approach when we're massaging. Remedial therapists will just use basic hands-on techniques, right? We will use cupping, needling, scraping, joint mobilization. So we have a lot more tools that we can use with our hands that differentiate us from your standard massage.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Are we likely, because I think this is a question that you probably get asked more than you'd like, and I did see it on your Insta the other day. Am I likely to see a red light at 1 a.m. outside of your shop for sweet happy endings? Like, is that?
It'll be one to say now open.
Yeah.
But it's always a happy ending here, mate. Always.
There's no, you can't pick down the option on the Clinico link. It's not like full body happy ending.
No. We don't have, and another thing is we don't have categories. Like we had a call, do you do a 15-minute massage for the neck? No. Yeah. Right? So we don't kind of categorize it. We have time slots.
Yeah.
All right. And if you have a condition, then we treat that condition, not just head, neck, foot. Yeah. So there's another differentiation too.
Awesome.
That's like, it's more you, as I said, the more assessment and diagnostic, plus like often a lot of people that, and this is what happens all the time with all of us, like people will say, oh, this part of my neck is sore, so can I just get that little bit massage? But you're like looking at your anatomy and looking at everything else, say, well, this has happened because of this, and these other areas are going to be tight and sore, this is going to be stiff. So I'm going to, rather than, focus on the isolated area where the person says all the pain is, you're like, all right, I'm going to treat all the surrounding structures and everything involved to make sure we give you a proper relief, proper treatment, so then you can go on about your day and hopefully not have this thing come back.
Correct. Most of the time you can't even communicate with these therapists.
Yeah.
So for us,
we won't go too deep down that pathway on day 2 here, but...
No, but it's again because people ask this, and this is the raw stuff people want to hear, and these are the real conversations I'm having with people on a daily basis. But we'll keep that for episode 12.
I get the same thing. I usually get the person who comes in who's been like, oh, my neck's been sore for like 3 weeks. I went and saw the insert nationality person down the road at the shopping centre, and I think they made it worse. And I'm like, and it's like they probably didn't, but you probably had a highly inflamed joint, and you asked them to rub it for an hour. Like, you've got to play that game there. So let's cut back to what you were talking about before, where you wanted, your big vision here is to show people, where do they go, what do they do? So coming back to Myo, in your opinion right now, and if we talk in the sphere of other health professions, osteo, chiro, physio, where do you see your best input for working within this, this spectrum?
The team.
So when you treat someone, there's always going to be a skeletal aspect to their issue, or a nerve aspect, or a rehabilitation aspect. They're not my strengths, so I know who have those strengths. Okay, so for me, and this is the way I explain it to people: is think of a trailer. You got three boxes, 3x3, so you got 9 boxes, right? And you got the tie downs that go on the trailer. So your tie downs are your muscles. Your boxes is your bones. Okay, and everything else surrounding it, the net, is basically all your soft tissue. The way I see it is we need to pull those straps off, which is the massage, release all that up, align the boxes, so your chiro, so your osteo, and then get the straps put back on, which is your rehab, which is your physio. Okay, so these are the sorts of way that I like to explain to people. This is just a process. That's why if you see a chiro, you might not get that relief that you want, and then people bag out chiros. Oh, I went 2 days later, oh, shit. Okay, that's because your muscles are still tight as hell, right? Well, I did the rehab. Well, like, you've just done major injury. It's going to take you a lot more time than just 2 weeks of just pulling a piece of plastic, right? So it takes time, and it takes a group of people. So my goal, my aim is to have people in-house and people external. Like, okay, go see this person, then come back and see me. We all communicate.
That's an awesome analogy, man. I really like that. It's like,
good.
Like, I often use the one, but it's a lot simpler. Is just that, like, where people are like, I've been in the gym doing the rehab, but I'm not getting better. And you're like, yeah, but your structure's not there. You just basically put a bigger engine in a car with a wheel alignment issue. All it did was drive harder into that tree. But if you fix up the wheels and then you slap that engine in, now it's got performance. But I like yours more because it actually covers everything.
Much simpler.
But that, yeah, I did. I get it's mainly I believe you guys are the strongest and the best soft tissue like manual therapists for sure. So I think that's where you guys fit in the jigsaw puzzle. Like physios are traditionally not good at it. Osteos are decent at it and can do obviously the spinal manipulations as well. Chiros do a lot of spinal manipulations and nervous system stuff. And the myos are the ones who are really good at all the soft tissue work.
And the combo is so good for stuff. Like I know with our myo in-house, I have people that'll see him, they do a 20, 30-minute session, then they come see me. Man, do those people get solid results. And none of that makes my life a lot easier. Like you take all those issues, like the tone of those muscles away, like I can do a lot better work on someone. It's amazing. Like even
phenomenal.
It's been a phenomenal thing to see the difference for someone having that combination rather than, especially in-house too, where instead of having to be like, go see X person on Wednesday and I'll see you on Friday, where it's just like, boom, nailed it. Yeah. Now you're doing awesome.
Yeah, unreal. What else? So what's next, Nate?
Mate, what's next? I think, well, hold on. We'll check where we're at as we're a professional unit here at the HPI podcast here, mate. I guess the big thing I want to check next, and we'll talk about next week in a second, but come back to you a minute. So obviously the clinics, when we got an opening date?
So I'm hoping it was supposed to be this week, but unfortunately we haven't been able to finish everything on time. I'm hoping for Monday.
Monday?
Yeah,
Monday 8th of October?
Nice. Monday the 8th. Yeah, so look, we're aiming for that, so I'll hopefully have everything moved over by the weekend. I'm going to settle in first, kind of get a feel for it, get everyone in. I still want to build a few more rooms. I want to have everything up and running, and then I'm going to do an open day. So I'll share with you guys a little bit later on. I'll have all you guys down, do assessments, do a few fun things around home, get all the sponsors out, and have a proper launch party. So I'm really excited for that. I'm not a tradie, so building this place has been a lot harder than I anticipated. So when you learn, when you open up a business, you try and plan for as much as you can.
Huh.
There's always going to be things that you'll learn for the next time you open up another one. So we're in that phase. So I think there'll be interesting podcasts to talk about, what's it like opening up a business 101.
That'll be huge for all of our listeners. Like, I know I'm just starting to plan for it potentially late next year. I'm looking at jumping the gun and doing it. I spent an hour with my coach today, my business coach, and I've got a huge whiteboard I'm just looking off at the moment of just some of the things. I bet there's about 1,000 more. So that'll be an awesome episode, both for me personally and I think anyone listening around. But just before we kick it off, My Body Clinic, mate, what do you, like, you're about to open up. Is it just you starting up, and where do you see it in, say, 3 months, 6 months, a year? Are you want to be a solo operation, or you want to have this huge thing? Like, basically, should people start sending their resume to you?
Yes. So the goal is, so there's 5 rooms. We want 6 Myotherapists on board. We want an osteopath. We want a physio. Yeah. So the goal is to have 8 people on board, or even 10 people on board, including myself, operating within the next 12 months.
Boom.
So the goal is, obviously I've got you guys there to support me all the way through. But at the same time, I know you guys are quite busy, so if I can have my in-house people as well, it's just going to help my clientele just achieve better results straight away. And I'm really excited. So I've been waiting to do this for the last 10 years. Just share, what people say on Instagram and what happens in reality. People don't see, like I put up a post the other day, like I literally used to knock on every single door on my street. I'm Mina, I'm a myo, and I treat you. That's how I started. But we'll delve into that in the next podcast though. But I'm really excited. So 8th, I'll be starting. So with Sean and myself, we'll be operating out of one room for now. I'm getting some doors put up in the other rooms, and then hopefully within the next 3 months, we'll have the osteo on board and another therapist on board.
That's awesome, bro. Now, who do you like to work with? Like, say, clientele. Like, who do you guys treat?
So we treat everyone and anyone. So it doesn't matter what age. We even go from kids all the way through to like adulthood. If you're in an office, if you're a tradie, if you're a gym goer, if you're a labourer, if you're working on a trade, it doesn't matter what you do, we will have a place for you. I just made that wrong by accident. But it doesn't matter. Like, I like to work in the sporting industry because these guys need it a lot more thoroughly and more often, where different people have different situations. So we treat anyone with everyone.
That's good. And apart from having obviously your in-house team, you're also opening up. You got some room for rehab, right?
Yes. So there's a huge common room at the back, which we're flipping that into a gym. So I'm really, really excited for that. So the physios, the osteos, and the myos, and even some of the remedial therapists can use that space as well. And it's really good check-in for our clients, and just adds an extra variation to the rehab sector that I'm really, really interested in. So, and Benny's going to come over.
I think that's the future for all health practitioners, to have.
You got to have it there. You've got to have it there.
Like, you just, otherwise, like, you can tell everyone everything, but if you can't make them feel and like see it.
Show me, tell me, show me again.
Love it.
So that's it. That's the plan.
That's the best, man. Well, that's what I think. We'll pull that in for today. I think we've learned a lot about it today, and I think next episode, stay tuned for the big man in the top corner on the one I'm looking here, Mr. Ben Humphries, telling us all about how physio works. Telling us diving deep, yelling at people, I'm sure, like all the other fun things.
We'll
they won't be talking about just the tip.
We'll uncover who I am and the flaws in the physiotherapy industry and how I met you, beautiful men.
Oh, mate, this is an exciting time.
It's a story.
Man love in the room. All right, boys. Well, we'll call it in. I'm going to pull it apart. Thanks to everyone for hanging out, and we'll see you next time on the Health, Business, and In Between podcast.
Well, good enough.
Everybody awkwardly stand there while I figure out where the button is.
Thank you for tuning in to the HPI podcast, Health, Business and In Between. If you learned something today, please grab a screenshot, throw it up on the gram, tag us in it, and if there's any questions, please just reach out. Also, if you can leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcast, that really helps us get the message out. As always, stay awesome, and we'll talk to you soon.